Hello, everyone. This is Jay Dobbins of the official Marvel DC Multiverse, and we are now at episode 502, and I'll be doing a review on the Fantastic Four First Steps. So, spoiler alert, if you have not seen the Fantastic Four First Steps, I strongly suggest you do not listen to this episode. You've been warned. So, the film takes place on Earth, 8/28 in 1964. So the world celebrates the 4th anniversary of astronauts Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Ben Graham, and Johnny Storm becoming the superhero team known as the Fantastic Four after they gained superhuman abilities from exposure to cosmic rays during a space mission. So since then, the team have become celebrities and fought supervillains, while Reed's inventions have progressed technology, and Sue's diplomacy via the Future Foundation has led to dematerialization and peace for much of the world. When Reed and Sue reveal that they're expecting a child, the world prepares for the new rival and questions whether the child will also have superpowers. Months later, the Silver Surfer comes to Earth and declares that it has been marked for destruction by Galactus, a planet-devouring cosmic being. Reed studies the disappearance of other planets and verifies this claim, and the team decides to return to space to stop Galactus from coming to Earth. They track the Silver Surfer's energy signature and, using faster than light, which is FTL, travel, of course, arrive to a new planet just as it is destroyed by Galactus' ship. So the team is captured and brought to Galactus, who reveals that he has an insatiable hunger that has driven him to consume planets for eons. Galactus senses that Reed and Sue's unborn child has an immense cosmic power and could take on his hunger, freeing himself from it. So he offers to spare Earth in exchange for the child and induces Sue to go into labor. The team refuses to offer and escapes from the ship, using the gravity from a neutron star, which destroys their FTL system. So the team delays the chasing Silver Surfer and propels themselves back to Earth. Sue gives birth to a boy, Franklin, on the way. So on their return to Earth a month later, Reed reveals the details of their encounter during a press conference. So their decision to save one child over billions of other people on Earth leads to a public outcry, with Beanie calling for Franklin to be sacrificed to Galactus. Johnny begins to decipher the Silver Surfer's native language using his interactions with her and some deep space transmissions. So Reed intercepts the deep space transmissions Reed intercepted from the planet. So They also have transmissions from planets that Galactus destroyed. As Galactus draws near and protests against the Fantastic Four escalate, Sue takes Franklin to meet with protesters. She explains that they will not sacrifice their child, but they will also not give up on the rest of humanity. Using a teleportation system that he has been working on, of course, Reed devises a plan to build large teleportation bridges across Earth so they can transport the entire planet to another solar system where Galactus cannot reach them. Through the Future Foundation, Sue organizes the world's nations to build the bridges and conserve the energy needed to use them. So, as the bridges are being activated, the Silver Surfer returns and begins destroying them. Johnny stops her from destroying one last bridge in Times Square and reveals what he learned from the transmissions. Her name is Shalabal, and she became Galactus' herald to spare her world, Zenn-La. Hearing transmissions from other planets she helped destroy, Shalabal expresses remorse, but refuses to help and flees. Using Franklin as bait, the team plans to lure Galactus to the last bridge and teleport him away. She negotiates with Harvey Edler to evacuate New York City citizens to Subterranea, his underground city. Galactus makes his way through the city and captures Franklin, avoiding the trap. Sue uses all of her power to push him towards the portal with the force field while Reed rescues Franklin. Johnny attempts to sacrifice himself to give Galactus a final push into the portal, but is stopped by Shalaval, of course. She pushes Galactus into the portal herself, and it closes behind them. Sue dies from her efforts, but is revived by Franklin. The team goes on a new mission as the world celebrates their 5th anniversary. In a mid-credit scene set 4 years later, Sue is reading to Franklin at home and goes to get a different book. She returns to see him interacting with a man in a green cloak who is holding a metal mask. So, obviously that was Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, which I knew that was going to happen, to be honest with you. So, I knew that was coming. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, I also want to mention that as far as Earth 828 goes, is an Easter egg pretty much, and it's also symbolic. So they named Earth 828, which is an Easter egg, of course, which was named after Jack Kirby's birthday. Because August 28, 1917 is the birth date of Jack Kirby. So, but he died in 1994, unfortunately. But yeah, August 828 is August 28, which is Jack Kirby's birthday. So, which was a pretty much dedication to him, of course. And but yeah. So that's what that's what the Earth 828 means, pretty much. The Easter egg, of course. So, but also, I'm not gonna lie, the movie was pretty. I mean, I thought it was very good. It was well done. I really didn't think that having a female Silver Surfer was necessary, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna have Norrin Red Silver Surfer in either Secret Wars or Doomsday, in one of those Avengers films at least. So, but obviously, it's in a different universe, so they decided to use Shia LaBeouf as a female Silver Surfer. But then again, and maybe in the next, upcoming Avengers films, they might have two, Silver Surfers instead of one. But obviously, because in Earth 616, it's Norrin Radd who becomes Silver Surfer and the Herald for Galactus. And guess what? Shia LaBeouf is Norrin Radd's wife in Earth 616. So in different universes, they all made the same sacrifice and the same choice to have their world Zen-La spared, pretty much. So their services in different universes spared their world. So only difference is that, they're in different universes where these things occurred. So, but I like the special effects. I like the costumes. They were pretty interesting. Different but interesting. They had that 1960s look, and I also like how they were able to bring Herbie in there, because in another universe, Herbie is the fourth member of the Fantastic Four, and not in place of Johnny Storm. So, don't want a universe. Johnny Storm's not part of the Fantastic Four. And then there's another universe where She-Hulk is the fourth member of the Fantastic Four instead of Johnny Storm or Herbie. So they decided to have, instead of having one or the other, they decided to have both. So Herbie was more of a servant, which was cool, I'm okay with that. But I'm very happy that they were able to put Herbie in there, because it was supposed to be based off of the 1960s TV show, which I used to have a VHS of that. But however, in the VHS that I once owned, Herbie was part of the new member of the Fantastic Four instead of the Human Torch. So, but I like how they were able to bring all that in there and put in Mole Man too, which I thought was cool. He didn't look. Well, he's slightly comic book accurate, except he didn't have moles or long fingernails like he did in the comics, and he wasn't muscular like he was in the comics. In the Heroes Reborn comics, he was more muscular, he had like moles and stuff like that, like bumps or whatever. But I think his name was Paul Hauser. I'm not really sure, but he portrayed Mole Man pretty much. So, and for those who don't know, he was in the Clint Eastwood film Richard Jewell. He played Richard Jewell, someone who was crucified by the media, but then he was vindicated later, and he sued the media for a lot of money. Pretty much. I'm pretty sure he's won, but I'm trying to think. But yeah, it was, like I said, the storyline was good. I like, I like how they didn't do an origin story. I mean, if anything, they didn't have a full origin story. It was more of a small origin story, slightly. It showed them, in space, and they ran across cosmic rays. They didn't stretch it out. They just kept it brief. So I like how they were able to do that. So it wasn't like, like Batman Begins or like the 2005 and the 2015 Fantastic Four, where they all were pretty much origin stories. But I like how they didn't do an origin story. They were pretty much already, they had it to where they were had already gotten their powers, and they had like a little flashback, which that was the origin story, which was the flashback, which I knew that was going to happen at some point. But I like how they were able to balance it out and make it brief. So also the special effects was good. I like how the Thing was actually comic book accurate this time. So that was good. And I liked, I like the cast, Uh, so I'm thinking like, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. This film exceeded all expectations. Because honestly, I didn't think this film was gonna do well, or I didn't think the film was gonna be good at all. Because they were making it more like, um, more MCU type. Because they were making it sound as if Stu was the leader, but I didn't see how. Well, I kind of saw her leading a little bit, but I think that Reed Richards is still the leader in this movie because he's the idea man. He had the idea and he executed the idea. So anybody where I come from, anybody with an idea is pretty much a leader, pretty much. So, but yeah, I like how the Thing was able to. Oh, I like that car too. The little Fantastic Four ship. I thought that was pretty cool. It was better than the 2005 Fantastic Four little cruiser or hovercraft, whatever you call it, little ship. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like the little spaceship thing that they had too, though. And I like how they were able to introduce Franklin Richards, though. So that was pretty cool. That was long overdue anyway. And I like how they were able to introduce Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four, which as well, because I knew that was going to happen. But a lot of people were saying that, it's not going to happen. There's not going to be Doctor Doom's not going to be introduced until Doomsday. But no, they decided to introduce him to the Fantastic Four First Steps instead. So, and by the way, it was also confirmed that Robert Downey Jr. was the man in the green cloak and the metal mask in the post-credit scene. So, you just didn't see his face, but it was confirmed that it was him. So, by actress Vanessa Kirby, who plays Sue Storm. So yeah, special effects was good. I like the scenery. I like the production. I like the landscape. I like the background. I like the script. It was well done. No plot holes. I wasn't like scratching my head wondering like what the heck is going on. So I didn't walk out of the theater with no questions. Anytime I walk out of the theater with no questions, it's good. So I give it a 9.9 out of 100. It's because it's because of the Silver Surfer thing, but other than that, it's 99.9 is still good. So yeah, but that was a good script, and I hope they do. I want to see more. Fantastic Four. This time I'm gonna try and get a shirt this time. But for the cast, for Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, Vanessa Kirby, who else? Paul Walter Hauser, and of course Ebon Moss Backrack. So if you guys are listening to this podcast, well done. Good job and keep up the good work, man. I look forward to seeing you guys in more upcoming Marvel films. So keep it up, guys. And before I forget, so far the movie has made so far the film has made $372 million worldwide with a production budget of $200 million. So hopefully it'll break even, but I don't know. But I'm looking, but I hope it does. Make at least $500 million or $600 million at least. But so yes, I like how the thing was comic book accurate, most definitely. But it was the best CGI thing I've ever seen. Better than the 2015 CGI thing. So, But yeah, keep it up, guys. And I like the 60s setting that they had. They made it look accurate to the 1960s. The setting and the theme, the 1960s theme was also pretty good. So, and I like how because they were reshooting because they wanted to make. I heard rumors that they want to make Johnny Storm a homosexual, but instead, I guess they reshot the film and decided to make him a ladies' man as well. Sorry, not as well, but they made him a ladies' man instead because there are a lot of women. There were women like, "I love you, Johnny." So obviously, in this universe, the ladies are going wild for Johnny Storm. Obviously, So yeah, I like that. And Joseph Quinn made a good Johnny Storm, man. A little humorous too, And just like any, he is silly from time to time, And I'm pretty sure he gets on Sue Storm's nerves just like in the comics, But hey, he's a little brother, so what do you expect? It's normal. But I also like the speech, how they decided to, work together as a family to save the Earth, the planet, from Galactus. And that speech is what moved everyone, and they decided, okay, we're going to help people. We're going to help, do what we can, instead of sacrificing Franklin Richards, which was not going to be an option, by the way. So I already knew that wasn't going to happen. So, I also like when they used Ben Grimm or the Thing's his famous line, "It's clobbering time," which I knew he was going to say that at some point, but I'm glad they were able to put that in there. It's clobbering time, because that was really needed for the Battle of Galactus, which I knew that was going to happen. And all it took for him to say it was, because he was pressured, of course. And Johnny was like, "Say it. What time it is?" He's like, "What time is it, Ben?" He's like, "No, I don't want to say it." He's like, "Say it. I don't want to say it." He finally just gave it and said it was clobbering times. I like that. I thought that was kind of funny too, though. And I like how the Thing had his little beard, because I thought it was a gravitational forces at first when I saw the trailer, but it turns out he had a beard, just like he did in the comics. And the funny thing is, I didn't know the Thing could actually grow a beard since he was made of rock, but since he had a rock, well, not made of rock, but since he had a rock body, since his body was formed into rock. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. So just thought I put that in there. Yeah, I like how everything was balanced with the Mole Man, and then that's that monster, that weird looking monster that they were facing at first. I can't remember what it was, but just like in the comics, they decided to incorporate that or include that into the film. So it was well done. I'm definitely gonna add that to my Apple TV collection for sure. So definitely. All right. Well, that concludes this review. Feel free to follow us on Instagram. We are available on iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube, and Twitch.